All right, so I just finished a screencast, and what happened near the end was I I stopped the screencast, and my screen just went black. The LCD died, and it shut down. Now, at the end there, you would have seen that I think the the screen was the battery was at about I think. I think the battery was about 70%, I think. Let's just go look.
Okay, my name is Chris Mosley. I live at 126 Croydon Avenue, New South Wales. They still go as far as they possibly can. They've broken so much of hackers. I think they're like NSA wannabes. They're like wannabe like 007 James Bond. We're gonna save the world.
Okay, so there you go. So it was at 70%, and that was just a few minutes ago. Let's look at that again, and we'll just look at the time. We'll just look at the time.
Okay, my name is Chris Mosley. They may have broke something in the phone, or I don't think it's them attitude. And this group that I'm talking about of hackers, I think they're like NSA wannabes. They're
okay,
like,
so 1719 the time. Okay, so let's go to now. It's 1721. As you can see, I just had to I shocked the crap out of my machine and dropped it. Unpulled the battery, I mean. And let's see what it says. 1727. Let's see what the battery says. Here, the battery says. Where is it? 43%. Instantaneous drop from 70%. What it was reading before was 70%, and now 43%. Let's look at the battery. What the battery says. Look at 43%. And there's all the program. 43%. So it dropped from 70 to 43%. Look at the drop there. That's just after 1700. And this constantly happens before. This is the first time it's been this bad, but this was constantly happening before, and all of my other phones as well. So this is an attack. These pricks are using me because they're harassing me. They wanted me to go since day one because they wanted to buy the unit. The property manager, this is 2016 now, the property manager has been here since 2013. He's not a nice person either. I think that he influenced the students to have us kicked out, and this is, make the environment so unpleasant that we would just leave voluntarily, and then when the unit's always empty, then they go to the, there, see the screen flashed for no reason at all, something connected to the thread, because I have the, let's go look, you saw it flash. I have the developer set up to, let's look, I have the developer set up to show force GPU rendering to GPU, and also I have it set up to strict mode enabled, flash screen when apps do long operations on main thread. So there's someone, I think what's happening is they're connecting to the main thread of the application, operations on main thread, and I think that they're like they have a system running beside mine, and they dip in to the okay, let's say I have a web browser running, and they have like a layer running over an overlay, and they dip into my thread or my buffer or my memory buffer or my memory allocation. They dip into that, and then that's where how they get their information, and that's how they access the machine. And they probably justify it by saying that we're not really in your machine, we're just in, memory, and the machine's going to shut down. We're not stalling anything on your machine, we're just watching. And they probably have laws or ethical ideas that justify that in their behavior. Well, let's go back here to data usage, to the battery, and let's look at the battery here, and then we'll plug it in. I want to plug it in, so I'm going to plug it in now. Okay, it stays on now, see? But look at the drop. Look at it, dropped from about 70% to 43%. And that's a complete manipulation on his part. And the funny thing is just after that happened, someone left his unit. And that's always happens. They'll commit attack, they'll leave the unit, they'll go and they'll bunshaft and they'll collaborate and they'll talk amongst themselves, they'll work on a plan, they'll write their scripts, and then they'll hit again. They probe, they survey, they listen, they watch, and then they hit again. And then they write their little attack down, and then they send it to Daddy-O government, or they send it to Mr. Premier Baird on church on Sunday. And Gall Das Vile goes to church and, "Hey, Mr. Premier Baird, I got another attack." There, see? Call mediatek battery. It just shut down. That's a battery that's just started happening recently. That's part of their attack, man. I'm certain of it. Now let's go look at. Okay, it stopped working. Now let's go look and see what's with that. Let's go to apps. There again, stopped working. And my battery's not charging anymore. See? So I got to get this done quick because my machine is going to shut down pretty soon. Cached. Okay, look at all these cached programs, and now I have to go because I usually have it set up not to cache, so I gotta go into developer, run down and turn off caching because they're using cache. I hate doing that, but they're using it. They're actively accessing it. Destroy every action. See, that changed. I had that turned on before I shut this down. So see, they force a shutdown, and then you restart up, and then all your development things are, and then there's an open, virgin, insecure time where the phone starts back up, and then they inject their shit. And I think that's what they're doing. They force a shutdown somehow. They justify it by saying, "Oh, it was just a battery loss. Your battery wasn't charging proper." But really, they forced it. And then they forced a situation where you had to start it up, and then on startup, they probably injected something that I have no idea about. They probably had something injected that was triggered by a startup event. And they do that all the time. I've seen that in all of our phones. I've seen that in all of our computers. It's just par for the course for these guys. Like I said, 41%. So it just keeps dropping and dropping and dropping and dropping. And will it charge? Nope, and it's not charging. At 41%, it won't charge. So I gotta go now because my phone is gonna blow up. It's gonna shut down again. But there you go. Anglicans and an attack on the battery and battery charging system, and they've executed this on all 4 of our batteries, and they've been doing this since 2000 and since we moved here. They've been attacking our computers since we moved here. They are the worst bunch of people I've ever met, and they're hypocrites, they're liars, they're cheats, they're backstabbers. If you know any Anglicans, I would stay away from them. They're pouty little brats. They haven't grown up yet, and they got megalomaniac, serious attitude problems. They're insane, crazy people, and they have a whole framework that supports them and encourages their behavior, and they start brainwashing their kids from when they're born. By the time they get old, by the time they're this age, they're the center of the universe. They're egocentric, and every single other thing on the planet, it doesn't matter except for them. That's what I've seen from these people. At least the people that live around me. I know there's good people out there, I'm sure, but these people, sorry, the worst. Okay.